Are you ready to get your feet wet? Because this is the Knowledge Pool, hosted by Gathering Information. We're here to bring you a casual conversation between friends about everything to do with collecting, trading, and playing Magic the Gathering.
I am Tams.
I am Step.
And I am Laura.
So put on your bathing suits and dive right into the Knowledge Pool. Goodbye, everybody, and turn up. No, that didn't work. Hi! Welcome to the Knowledge Pool.
I'm going home.
It's a little, what?
What was that?
Well, we're gonna have to glue those hinges because they're a little unstable.
Oh. Oh, that was awesome.
You mean awful? I think you
yes,
are also.
I mean awful. So yeah, welcome to the Knowledge Pool episode
36.
Yeah, it is.
It is 36. There are sixes in that.
No, there's a bunch of threes, but...
There are a bunch of threes. There are always three, except for when there were two missing that one time.
Boy, moving along.
So
what is up with you today?
Oh no, it's my fault. I told him to take point on the unhinged spoilers.
Yes, you did.
I
have
apologize to you, Tams, to the audience, to me, myself. I make no apologies for Step.
I think you're kind of cute.
It's okay, Laura. We all know that the brain of the operation has flown far, far away.
Well, I will shortly, once I've left with disgust in my heart.
So how's everybody doing today? How's everybody
bad.
doing this week?
We're sugared up.
We are
ready
sugared
to
up.
go.
Oh my gosh. Laura brought brownie cookies.
It's true.
Brownie cookies.
And
Cookie
they
brownies?
were amazing.
They are brownie cookies.
And I was too sore to cook, so I threw a frozen lasagna in the oven. But I did make garlic bread.
Kind of.
So,
it was good.
Well, it was kind of just chop the bread in half and throw some stuff on it. But it was fine.
Works for me.
It was carbs, right?
That's very true.
So, since we have sillied the place up, shall we get started?
Absolutely.
What's happening in the news this week?
Well, in the news this week, we have a couple of things that are not related to the unset, so we should probably just get started with those
Kick those
first,
out of
I
the way.
suppose. Okay, so first up, something I wasn't super aware of just because I'm not someone who plays Magic Online that much. You, as of today, which is the Wednesday, the 15th, can start purchasing Playpoint bundles in the Magic Online store.
That's weird.
Previously, these have been account locked. You aren't able to trade them. You aren't able to play them. All you can do is earn them and then use them to play once you have reached the threshold.
Yeah, it was kind of their version of store credit.
Yeah.
You got to, if you had already played events and done well enough to get some play points, then you could maybe play another event in the future once you'd racked up enough.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But you had to enter events initially by buying tickets.
Or with packs and a combination of tickets.
I really don't mind this idea simply because, like, for me, I haven't done a lot of Midgo, but I still have a couple of those stupid new player points, which I don't have enough for anything. No. I know they has nothing, but I mean, I wish there were a way that I could, buy
Trade
4
in those.
more so that I could actually have a full amount. So same with with the play points.
Yeah, well, play points get used for just about every event, but that's one thing that has kind of bugged me because when I started, it was like 5 points for a new player event, and then it dropped to 4 or something.
Yeah,
and
I think so.
It's like, I've got a random new player point that I can't get rid of. Like, I can't just get it out of my account, but I also can't use it.
Yeah.
So that's irritating.
My concern with this is just the sheer number of changes they've made to the Midgo economy, seemingly without actually doing any analysis on the results between changes.
Yeah.
Like, they also announced changes to the treasure chest. They're allowing, you can open a full set in a treasure chest randomly.
Really?
Because they keep, the value on them keeps going down. And then they'll say, oh, but no, we've added these cool new things. And then the value will go down again.
That's interesting.
So it's... I don't know. Some people are speculating that this is basically just them running a bunch of test balloons for how they want the Magic Arena economy to be set up, which is concerning.
A little bit, because, I mean, this is what they have right now that they have a great deal of stock in, you know, like player money and
franchised players. Yeah.
So with Arena not even in beta yet as of this recording, like it's the beta hasn't even started.
Yeah, I think it's still in alpha testing. They're doing like stress tests and basic preliminary things.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me this is don't mess with my game so you can test for your new game.
Yeah, where
like,
if I end up having to switch over, I will then be out potentially thousands of dollars from my Mako collection.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to get in too deep there because we really don't have detailed information. But
I don't think anybody does. But anyways, if you just have an odd number of play points lying around, or you play a lot online and you think this may be a more cost-effective way, because, you know, if you're playing events, you can just use these play points. And if you are getting yourself a bulk deal and you think that's worth it for you personally, they are now available for you.
That seems like a good thing. I'm just worried about the obfuscation of like money into money out. Like already calling $1 one ticket it's fine. You can just make that translation in your head, although some people don't. Like that's the point of calling them tickets. And then to say like it's 100 play points to $14. Oh, is it? Oh, sorry. Yes. So 1,000 play points gets you an event, or no, 100 play points gets you an event.
Okay, sure. So 100 is $14.
Or we don't even have the math in front of us, but it's a little concerning.
Yes. So anyways, so that's new and possibly good news in the short term for you as a player, I guess.
Yeah.
Other definitely good news for you as a player in the short term. You can start drafting Iconic Masters coming this Friday, the 17th. Online on Mako. Should make that clear. As well as in person.
Yeah. The store draft is this Friday, right? Yeah. I really want to go to the shop to draft it because I haven't been to a draft in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, but it seems like a sweet set. So our draft is going for $40 Canadian, no prizes.
Cool.
Yeah. You have the capabilities of opening up value, but boy, if you don't.
Yeah. I can't conscience that expense with unstable right around the corner because I am going to draft that for sure.
So so that was just some other new stuff, and then something else happened, but we're going to talk about that later.
Okay.
So next up,
have you played any Magic this week?
That's a really good question. No. Yes, we played Commander.
Oh, we did play Commander. Have you played Magic this week?
I went to
League. You went to League. We decided not to go to League.
I could not do it. No, there was just too much going on. Bad day plus extra work not expected. Just couldn't do it.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
I got my trades in.
Nice.
Oh, right.
I helped somebody make up a game, and then I sat around and chatted for basically 2 hours because somebody who needed to make up games didn't come in till late, and then somebody else took more than an hour for his first match.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
So that was great.
What were they playing?
They're just new players.
Oh, okay.
Who were not playing very quickly.
I see. But yeah, you were already caught up, so you didn't have to make up matches.
Right, but I needed to stay there until the final player was getting in his final match to prove that he was able to do so before we could purchase our pack for the week, if we wanted to, which I did. Got myself the Dinosaur Stompy removal spell.
Pounce?
No. Dinosaur Stomp. Stompy. The one that costs less if you target a dinosaur?
Right.
Yes. And then I got 2 fiery cannonades. You can't imagine my thrill. It doesn't go to the face.
No, it does not.
So, yes, I have a regular and I have a foil.
Yeah, we actually do have to make up matches, but we're going to have to try to do that, I don't know, next week.
Yeah, you're not here on the weekend.
No.
Yeah.
So maybe Friday, but you're doing stuff then too?
Yeah.
So tell us about Commander.
I actually got to play 3 games of Commander this past weekend, and that took like 6 hours. Yeah. I played, I don't know if the people who I got into Magic way back at the beginning of this podcast, I finally got them to sit down and play Commander with me. And actually, one of them, we hadn't played a single game of Magic, just the two of us, ever, up until this point. So, sat down with her with the new Commander Series decks, the tribal ones from this year. And I have finally played all 4 of them now.
So which one did you end up playing?
I played vampires because she chose cats, and I thought that those...
Probably the best matchup. They're both pretty aggressive.
Mm-hmm. And then her partner, the match after, I got to finally play the dragon deck against the wizards deck. She chose the wizards deck, and it was surprising how long that one took, considering it looked like she was going to be dead, like, on turn 5. I got a the artifact that you can pay Wooburg instead of the mana costs for spells you cast. And so all of my 9 and 10 mana dragons cost Wooburg,
Nice.
which I surprisingly also had. So I was slamming dragons every turn, and then, well, what happens in Commander when one player is way ahead and has creatures and the other doesn't?
Do they get targeted with board wind?
Yes, they do. So that went on for another, hour and a half, and it was amazing on both sides, but I ended up winning both of those games.
Nice.
I thought the point of Commander was to have fun, not to win.
Oh, well, sure, yeah. I guess. I would have been happy losing a good game, but I'm even more happy winning a good game.
So basically you stomped a new player and now you're proud of yourself.
Well.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, when, on the weekend, I guess, we decided to play. What did we play?
I played vampires.
Oh, you played the vampires. What did I play?
Something that wasn't vampires. Don't you remember? I almost had you.
Did I play wizards? I may have played wizards. Yes, I played wizards.
And my victory was going to be amazing, except he stole a lifelink creature.
Wow, what a jerk.
Yeah, and it was really convoluted too. It was this big old... I had to come up with a different way to use an interaction that would allow me to take out his creature that was life-gaining. Oh no, I remember what it was. I had the vampire that if you do not have your commander, each player, whoever doesn't have one, takes 4 damage.
Right.
Well, he had a copy. So if he didn't have a commander...
I copied it with phantasmal forces or whatever.
Yeah, so he was sitting at 8 life.
Yeah.
So if I could take out his commander, he was taking 8.
Yeah.
Then on his turn, he gained a life. And I'm like, oh no. And I'm like, wait, I have one card that has extort, and I have a stupid destroy target artifact. So I can take out his stupid artifact thing over there for no other value than to ding him for 1.
Yeah.
And then he stole my lifelink creature.
I made a copy of everything.
And it would have been a 3 life gain swing, and he had me dead on board the next turn. So it was so close, and I was so proud of myself. And then I was like, oh no, I'm like, wait, before we move the cards, look what I was going to do to you.
I mean, there's plenty of goofy stuff that you can do in those decks, and
so that was pretty cool.
Makes them fun.
But,
See, Tams, I think your problem was just that you weren't playing mono black. Because I think you've won every game in Commander that you've played with mono black that I've ever seen.
It's true, because my mono black deck's pretty sweet.
It's another one of the precons. It's basically just the precon with maybe
that I
the
have
Nixilis one.
a couple.
that I have tweaked out a little bit and gotten rid of some of the bad removal and put good removal.
You took out most of the things that were multiplayer focused and put in targeted removal.
Yes, and it's pretty sweet. So.
Yeah, because when the 3 of us play, Step and I get bored and start attacking each other. Because we both know that the other one's more likely to start attacking us, because we've played against each other before.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
And then we just let Tams do block things, and it turns out poorly for everybody.
Yeah, what was that piece of advice you told us? Always attack the mono black player?
Always attack the black player first. the predominantly black player.
Why would you do that when there's blue players at the table?
Terrible, and B, because black likes to use life as a resource, so if you limit their ability to do so, they are less likely to kill you with it.
Especially in a format where you start with 40 life. That's a lot of resource.
It's a lot of, I'd love to draw more cards for an extra life. Thank you.
Says the blue player who's constantly drawing cards.
Yeah, but I also just can't kill people with a Gary Merchant of Asphodel terrain trigger.
I can only run one.
Unless maybe you want to splash blue.
Yeah, and there's no way to recur
for clone effects?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, recurring, yeah. Recurrence is awesome. So yeah, there was a little bit of magic that went on.
Yeah. It was fun. We should seriously just make sure that we play some Magic every day.
Well, we were talking...
Day?
Every single day.
I mean, you have other things to do.
Yeah, I mean, one match of not Commander doesn't take that long.
As long as we play aggro decks.
Yeah.
What I would like to do, we talked about this the other day, is now that our collection is almost, it's like 2 colors away from being completely sorted, I think.
Yep. It's time to unsort it again.
Well, what I'm thinking is
there will be a murder.
That we make some sort of kitchen table shenanigans.
Funny you should mention murder.
Because
black is the color that I haven't yet sorted.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm thinking we should...
It deserves to be low on the list.
Hey! Mean. But yeah, I think we should come up with some...
Kitchen table formats?
Yeah, and like maybe come up with each person picks a theme, and you have to build a deck around it. Just some sort of challenging, fun thing to do. We used to do that a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know if you guys saw, I know I sent the link to Tams, but Loading Ready Run did a variant on our dollar store draft.
Oh?
Where they got their dollar store sold them in packs of 100. So they were playing Highlander.
Oh.
All you could do was take cards out and put in lands.
Wow. That sounds awful.
Apparently it was entertaining to watch.
Okay.
Perhaps not
miserable to play.
But it could be fun to do something similar to kitchen table.
5-color Highlander?
Not necessarily 5-color, just...
Our dollar stores do that too. They're $4 100-card packs. Maybe we should consider it.
Yeah, I would do it.
So you can take out cards and put in lands.
You can run as many basic lands as you want. As is true in every Magic format.
That sounds like fun, and we'll have to report back how it turned out.
Yeah, might have to try that.
That sounds good. All right.
Okay, so unless people have any objections, I'd like to move on to the thing I'm most excited about.
Yes.
Unstable is coming out soon.
Shortly.
And spoiler season has started.
Boy, has it.
I have been trolling my spoiler site to check for new cards. I already saw these. So I guess I want to give a little bit of info about like how the unset came about, and then we can talk about how this unset is shaping up.
Sounds good.
So Unglued was, can't remember now, 1998 it came out, and that's 4 years after Magic had started. Like, Magic really started in 94. Right. 93. So it didn't take that long for them to decide, let's do something wacky.
Well, with the people involved.
That's understandable.
That's fair. That's totally fair. So the reason that the silver-bordered unset came about was actually somebody said, let's make cards that cannot possibly be played in tournaments. Mm-hmm. And then they sent that to Mark Rosewater and said, figure something out. We want cards that don't work with the rules. And he decided that the best way to do something like that would be to make a gag parody comedy set.
I don't think he was wrong.
I don't think so either. But that's how Unglued happened. Mm-hmm. And so it was all sorts of like toilet humor and goofy in-jokes and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And it was a big hit until it wasn't. Mm-hmm. So there were, I think, 91 cards in the set, and it immediately sold out. and then they kept printing it, and then they had to destroy product.
Right.
So when the second set happened, and they also way overprinted it, and there were only 141 cards in that set, and they had to destroy product. They thought this was a big failure, because that's what they think when they have to destroy product. Meanwhile, Conspiracy sold not as much as the unsets sold, but because they didn't print as much, they didn't think of it as a failure. They thought, oh great, this is a success. So finally, I guess they decided to print a third unset, and Mark Rosewater says it's been on the books for a while, and so it's finally happening, and it's here, and spoilers have started, and
some people are like children in chocolate shops.
Well, they look really good. I mean, the whole design aesthetic of this set is completely different from the other unsets.
It's pretty fantastic.
I don't see much in the way of off-color humor, because they've grown as a company, I guess.
Sure.
But I'm rolling my eyes. But there's a lot of in-jokes and squirrel humor and just random, really interesting things that they probably couldn't get away with in Black Border Magic, but it doesn't seem as off the wall as you know, the unsets you
and some
to be
absolutely
so far.
Amazing looking cards too.
Well, Steph, just before we dive into the actual cards, why should you buy an unset if it's not tournament legal?
Well, a lot of people don't care about tournament legality. These cards are fun.
So you casual play?
Yeah.
Grab a bunch of your friends and draft it, or throw it in your kitchen table decks, or...
And this set has been specifically designed to be played in multiple formats, like draft, or be slotted into commander decks. There's a bunch of legendary stuff specifically built to make kooky commander stuff around.
I understand there's also... Is it land in this set?
So
land in all the sets, yeah.
The people who care
really nice
about...
lands.
Like value, yes. The unsets are where they pioneer new concepts, including the original full art lands were in Unglued. And then they did land art that went straight to the border in Unhinged. And then in Unstable, there are now entirely borderless.
Full bleed.
Yeah, they go right to the edge of the... I'm trying to find them here. Right to the edge of the card with no black border.
Beautiful.
So they are pretty, but I mean, these days you have a lot of options if you want full art land.
Yeah, I think these will still be popular because they are very pretty.
I think so far this is my favorite. Of course, it could just be it's new, but it definitely appeals to my sensibilities, and I would like a full set of all of the colors, and some of it is some of the nicest art. Like, I think that's probably now my favorite island.
Really?
You know why? Because it's an island.
Okay, I do like the island in the foreground, but it looks a lot like the mountain.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I also love the swamp.
The swamp is gorgeous.
I quite like the forest just because I really like that shade of green.
It's pretty.
Very vivid, verdant green.
Yeah. So... you know, there's a little something for everybody, but that's true of all lands, I suppose.
Something else that is fun for people who aren't just casually into Magic, or more the Vorthosy type, well, I guess more really a Melvin type, is there's a mechanic which Mark Rosewater has been trying to figure out ever since... Future Sight, where they originally printed Steam Flogger Boss. Steam Flogger Boss is the only black bordered card in the set. I can say that because the lands don't have borders. And it was never meant to be printed as a real thing, but then Mark Rosewater decided he had to make it a real thing. So Contraptions, the mechanic of a... assembling a contraption, a creature assembling a contraption, was a thing that they weren't sure how to work in the rules. So now they have figured out their contraptions.
Cool.
Contraptions are artifacts that you put into play when a creature assembles them. And they don't do anything themselves, but on your turn, you can crank all the contraptions on a certain, is it cog? Gear? What's it called? I don't remember what it's called, but you've got 3 sprockets.
That sounds right.
And you can have a contraption on any one of 1, 2, or 3, and you crank them in turn on each of 3 turns.
You can have multiple contraptions on each one, right?
Sure. So you can crank any of the ones on the 1 sprocket the first time, and then the next turn it goes to 2, and then to 3, and so forth. So these are magic cards, sort of. They're artifacts, but they don't go in your magic deck. You have a separate contraption deck, which is 15 cards large, and when you assemble a contraption, you draw one of these and put them into play.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah. And so there are things like Genetic Recombinator, which is an artifact contraption. And whenever you crank Genetic Recombinator, up to 2 target creatures each get +2/+2 until end of turn.
Interesting.
Or BB Gun.
He's so cute.
It's a mythic rare contraption. Whenever you crank BB Gun, until end of turn, target creature gains pay 2. This creature fights another target creature.
There's a bunch of bees
Coming out of a machine gun.
It doesn't have to be a creature that you control.
Nope. But
so you can make your opponent's creature fight another creature of theirs?
You can make it gain the ability.
Okay.
But you can't use the ability because you don't control the creature.
Okay.
So, but there are different contraptions for each of the 5 factions of the unstable plane, wherever that is. Mm-hmm. So the Order of the Widget, the Agents of Sneak, the League of Dastardly Doom, the Goblin Explosioneers, and Crossbreed Labs.
I'm going to guess Crossbreed Labs was the one that had that first one. The first contraption you mentioned.
Probably, yeah. And the previous unsets didn't have this level of like world building involved in them, but I really like the look of this as a draft format. I'm going to draft this a bunch of times. I already know 3 people who are buying boxes, and we have a popular place to draft. So
that's awesome.
I imagine we will have stories about it in future.
Now, do you think this to me doesn't seem at first blush like a set for new players, because when you have something like, a 15 deck sub deck that you need to play, it means rules are going to be really kooky.
Well, plus there's one, which, sorry to steal some of your thunder here, rules lawyer, which states that state-based actions don't apply to you or other permanents you control. If you're a new player, you have no idea what a state-based action.
Yeah, I have a nickname for this card already.
What's it?
Judge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically,
anytime anything would happen that's not being directly caused by a player action, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, so your creature dying because it has 0 toughness, or you dying because you have 0 life. Those are all state-based actions.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
But
I believe you can still destroy a creature, because I don't think that's state-based.
I think you're probably correct, but I guess we'd have to ask a
judge.
However, if you do destroy a creature and it goes to the graveyard, the aura that's attached to it doesn't.
Because that would be a state-based action? Wow.
Oh.
Are there auras in this set?
I don't actually know. I haven't seen any.
Yeah, so
it's going to get pretty messy.
I hope that somebody's going to write up a guide on all the things that you no longer have to apply to yourself when you have Rules Lawyer in play.
That would be helpful.
Well, the reminder text for Rules Lawyer is...
It takes up the entire
10 lines long.
In tiny font.
You don't lose the game due to having 0 or less life. or drawing from an empty library. Creatures
Sure.
aren't destroyed due to damage or death touch and aren't put in the graveyard due to having 0 or less toughness. Your planeswalkers aren't put in the graveyard if they have 0 loyalty. You don't put a legendary permanent into the graveyard if you control 2 with the same name. Counters aren't removed from your permanents due to game rules. Permanents you control attached or combined illegally remain on the battlefield. For complete rules and regulations, see Rule 704.
I'm already seeing a combo with a card I've already seen.
Yeah?
Yeah, the 5/5 that allows you to, at any point, switch it for a, like, murder bot.
Let's go
get there.
and talk about Mary O'Kill. Mary O'Kill is a legendary creature human villain for 5 Rakdos, so black-red hybrid mana. She's a 5/5, and you can pay 1 and a Rakdos to switch a Killbot or Mary O'Kill in your hand with 1 on the battlefield. So this is basically ninjutsu, except they don't enter the battlefield, and they're all counters and states of the card remain on the switched card.
But
So-
that would the lawyer would allow you to have multiple.
Mary
true.
Kills, yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Or any other of the legendary
You know what
creatures,
I would
which there are a lot of.
Really probably enjoy, even more than draft for this? Sealed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I want to do a sealed. I want to do a draft, but okay, so
Or
the problem
honestly, even a box sealed.
I think a box sealed would be better because each pack of unstable has 2 contraptions in it. So you're already down sort of 2 cards for your deck total, unless you just count those as like lands that you wouldn't play anyway. But yeah, I am super looking forward to this set.
So Evan, when you're listening to this, keep that in mind.
So another thing, just before we talk more specifics about cards, I think there's something special about the tokens that come in the box.
I did hear something about that, but I don't recall.
They are, I think, double-sided, and the second side is full art.
Is that right?
I don't know, we should probably pause the podcast for a second, and sorry, Tams, we're making you edit so much of this.
All right, you're right. And actually, that ties in really well to the original Unglued, because Unglued was also the first set to have tokens.
And we just went and looked at these, and they're gorgeous.
So there's
Oh.
there's 2 sets of tokens. They're both foil, apparently, and one is going to be regular token on the front, add on the back, but the other one is token on the front, full art of that token on the back, and they look quite nice.
Is it a chance on opening, or is it...
Yeah, so basically when you open your pack, you are going to be keeping the land and the token. Because the land and the token are value.
Yeah,
Right? So it's going to feel bad if you have to pass them and then someone's just taking all of the lands over any playable cards because they're
And
the
then
only thing
dropping
with
from
money.
the draft, yeah.
So there's 2 contraptions. There's 1 full art land, there's 1 foil token, and then there's the 12 actual unstable cards.
So 12 cards plus 2 contraptions is 14 cards, which is a regular pack that you would pass.
Yeah.
Now, I have on my phone here the original unglued tokens.
We got some squirrels.
Squirrels, soldiers, goblins, sheep, hippogriffs, zombies, but they didn't have names and they didn't have power and toughness. They're just basically stand-ins for creatures that you can do with whatever you want, and that's what the backs of the full art sides of the unstable tokens look
Yeah,
like.
you're right, because the front half does have the name and the power toughness, but the back is just the art.
So you could use them for alternate things as long as the token fit. I mean, in the rules, you can use anything as a token, but yeah.
So, yeah, so moving on to specific mechanics and
So,
cards.
We've talked about a couple of cards so far. I guess the 5 factions, the Order of the Widget, are like cyborg knights. They're all Inspector Gadget type, goofy.
Showing your age.
And do they have a color?
They're white-blue.
Okay.
They're all allied pairs. So the white-blue Order of the Widget are Inspector Gadgety assemblers. I guess assembler is the wrong word. The Agents of Sneak are secret agents, but not particularly good secret agents. They are blue and black.
It sounds familiar.
And so I believe each faction assembles contraptions because it's a mad scientist world.
Okay.
So like with Order of the Widget, you've got Do-It-Yourself Seraph, who is 4 white for a 4/4 cyborg angel with flying. And
Cyborg angel.
Yeah.
whenever Do-It-Yourself Seraph attacks, you may search your library for an artifact card, exile it, and then shuffle your library. Do-It-Yourself Seraph has the text box for each card exiled with Do-It-Yourself Seraph in addition to its own. So basically you just pile on abilities to the Order of the Widget people.
Wow.
And
that's kooky.
I'd love this with like Platinum Angel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't lose the game. Indestructible.
Or like
Ew.
Basilisk Collar or
Ooh, Lifelink Death Touch on a 4/4. It's not bad. Worm Coil.
Yeah.
Worm Coil Engine.
If it happens to die, you get to yeah, so that seems real good. They haven't released any cards for the Agents of Sneak, I think intentionally, other than a removal
Sounds
spell.
sneaky.
Yeah. Destroy target Finders Keepers. 5 and a black. Sorcery. Destroy target creature, then assemble a contraption. So when you assemble a contraption, you put the top card of your contraption deck face up onto one of your sprockets.
Sure.
And that's what, you do
So,
crank each of those.
The fact that you
on
can
your turns.
choose the sprocket is pretty important, right?
Yeah, because you could pile them all up on one. So you have like 5 contraptions every 3 turns going off. Or you could spread them out so that you get something every turn. Or you could decide this one combos with this one, so I'm going to put them on the same sprocket and then something else the next turn.
So
Interesting.
the one interesting thing just about contraptions, extrapolating a little bit here, is that it does imply that you want to go late game. Otherwise, you're just not getting the value out of it.
Yeah, a lot of these, you say casual, I say fun, formats tend to go late. Like, Commander is a casual. No. So you think she'd be the League of Dastardly Doom?
I don't know. How many 2-drops does it have?
Not many so far.
Hey.
Although there is one that I wanted to talk about. The League of Dastardly Doom are the mad scientists with their Doom machines.
So
And is this Rakdos?
This is Rakdos. This is red-black.
Okay.
So
Sounds great.
Mario Kill is one of them. Mm-hmm. And you remember how she can swap out for a Killbot?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We have a Curious Killbot. 2 mana, artifact creature, Killbat. At common, it's a 2/1.
Okay, so you play this as a 2/1, then turn 3 you can swap it out for a 5/5.
If you open her as a rare,
If
yes.
you happen to open a legendary creature's rare. So, what is the flavor text on that step?
We're... Beep.
Well read.
Thank you. What I find really interesting about this, and I've been through all of the unsets, this is a vanilla 2/1 creature.
Yes, it is.
This is the first vanilla 2/1 creature ever printed in Un. This is the first vanilla anything ever printed in Un.
Wow.
I think it's funny because it's vanilla, except that sometimes it turns into a Mary Kill or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's obvious flavor ramifications here, and it looks amazing. I love the art for this thing and for her. You can see that she's basically like a Transformer, one of these.
Yeah.
So at first when I saw it, I didn't know how I felt about just a vanilla creature being in an onset.
A colorless 2/1.
Completely bland.
Yeah.
But then I read Mario Kill, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Yes, another thing for the League of Dastardly Doom, they have the Clock of Doom.
They seem to be very on theme.
So they have like random doom machines that they just have and can trigger.
I feel like they're about the least subtle guild I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Funny you should mention that. Next up, we have the Goblin Explosioneers.
Oh dear. I can see where this is going.
Oh man, I love goblins so much.
Goblin Explosioneers, we have, let's just use Party Crasher as an example. 4 and a red for a Goblin Berserker at uncommon. It's a 3/3 with haste. And you can attack with Party Crasher on each combat during each opponent's turn.
So, do you know, I had a conversation with our store judge about this particular card yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
At the League Makeup Week that you guys were not making up your minds to that. And I just asked, does this mean that you have to declare him as an attacker during your opponent's declare attacker steps? Mm-hmm. Because presumably that's where all of your attackers are.
I think I know the answer here.
And we agreed that probably yes. Mm-hmm. And then the next question was, do you have to are you declaring these simultaneously in the same way that you're resolving a Liliana discard? Each player discards a card and each player does it simultaneously but hidden so that it doesn't impact the other person's decision? Or is it in player or active player, non-active player order? Or
I would assume that.
That's what he said that he would assume as well.
Because it's a priority thing. You get to declare attackers when you have priority, right?
Right.
It's not like this is a trigger that goes on the stack. Mm-hmm. It's something that I get an extra priority here. Or I get an extra action I can take when I have priority.
Yeah. So, I'm just saying, a lot of judge calls.
Yeah. What I like... Sorry. Go ahead.
What I like is how gleeful he looks. Look at his face.
He's got a chainsaw.
I love the goblins. They're so adorable.
What I like about this is that if you can declare attackers after your opponents are attacking, you can wait to see if they swing with everything.
Yes.
And then hit them.
Yes.
Or you can wait to see if they're holding something back and maybe you want to attack the person they're attacking or someone else entirely. I think this one is specifically geared toward multiplayer commander.
Sure. Hadn't thought of that one, but that seems awfully hilarious.
This is where the Steam Floggers are. Like I said about Steam Flogger Boss, which I'm just going to read here. 3 and a red, Goblin Rigger at rare. He's a 3/3. Other Riggers you control get +1/+0 and have haste. And if a Rigger you control would assemble a contraption, it assembles 2 contraptions instead. So this is the card that started the whole contraption shenanigans.
Right. So basically, instead of taking one card out of your face-down contraption deck and then revealing it and putting it under your sprocket, you would do 2 of them.
Yep.
Sure. So this seems to be the red-green group. They seem very gruel. They
do. They just spoiled one right before we went live here, and it's got a new mechanic.
Okay.
There is
my god! What is that?
3-headed goblin.
Okay.
Is a 3/3 goblin mutant for 3 red, and it has triple strike. This creature deals first strike, regular, and last strike combat damage.
What is last strike damage?
Last strike is a new ability that they have spoiled, like on extremely slow zombie. This is a 1 and a black zombie, is a 3/3 with last strike. This creature deals combat damage after creatures without last strike.
So it's the reverse of first strike.
Yes.
That's hilariously awful as well.
This is one of those things that I could see totally being a regular Magic thing. It's just goofy right now.
It's very goofy. I don't think it would be very good in a regular Magic set, but I think it suits this particular type of set.
It would be a downside.
Well, yes.
But I could totally see them doing that, especially like extremely slow zombie is the card that would have it in regular Magic, because for the longest time, black only got 2/2s for 2 with a downside, and this would be an adequate downside.
That's excessively bad. I mean, that's a real
it still attacks into a 2/2.
All creatures blocking or blocked by this creature gain first strike until end of turn.
Yeah.
Would be the way to put it in regular Magic, you know? I think that's really
flavorful.
fantastic.
And I think the only thing better than a one-headed goblin is a three-headed goblin.
So what's the final?
Sorry, yes. The final guild is Crossbreed Labs. And they are the green-white... they're basically Simic.
Yeah, with a name like that, you would think Simic.
You think Simic because of Ravnica, but actually green-white makes a lot of sense for this because they are... it's all about community, and they are trying to make people as communal as possible by making sure that everyone is a part of everything.
Whether by choice or not.
So, the only card that I have here that's definitely for them...
Also heard about this one.
Slaying Mantis is a luchador. 5 green for a 6/6 insect wrestler at uncommon.
Oh my goodness.
It has just a second. As long as the spell is on the stack, players can't move cards on the battlefield.
And why is that relevant?
Well, I think it's funny because it's like Split Second, but worse.
Yes.
Or better.
Better, depending on...
But it's relevant because Slaying Mantis enters the battlefield by being thrown from a distance of at least 3 feet. When Slaying Mantis enters the battlefield, it fights each creature an opponent controls that it touched as it entered. So, in the art, it's like taking a flying leap off of the ring and just landing on some goblins.
Body slamming them?
Yeah. This is super cool. And the Split Second is relevant because they don't want your opponents to
excuse me whilst I
put
my bomb underneath all of my tutus.
In response,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Now, we haven't seen a lot of the cards for it yet, but there's going to be a bunch of, like, crossbreed stuff. Mm-hmm. Mutant squirrels, squirrel emu, or bat kangaroos, or, whatever.
So it's basically the world of Avatar.
Yeah.
So
the last Avatar, not the terrible Avatar.
So can you tell us a little bit about the aesthetically interesting 3x3 murally layout that they have come up with that I think is just super, super nice?
So you're talking about the contraptions.
Yes, I am.
I love that the contraption sheets are laid out this way, but each of the 5, I'm going to call them guilds, have 9 contraptions when laid out in a 3x3 grid, make a mural. And so far, they've spoiled, 10 of these contraptions, but they have the art for all 5 murals. So when you put them together on a binder page, which is how I'm going to store my collection, you can see the whole crazy mixed up thing scene that explains what the guild is all about.
That is just so cool.
It honestly reminds me of like a desert bus poster after everything has been filled in. Mm-hmm. Speaking of, bringing that up later. So you can go right now and find these pictures of the guild contraptions without any of the cards right now and kind of guess what they're going to be. Hey, Draft Cat. And I had a lot of fun at work when nothing was happening today doing that. Like, it looks like there's a gum beeble machine somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's super cool. There are a couple of other random cards that I wanted to mention because they don't fit into any particular guild, but they're interesting.
Okay.
Usually in an unset, you care about things that you're not allowed to care about in Black Border Magic, like artist or collector's number or expansion symbol. Mm-hmm. In this set, it looks like... where was it? One of the things that is being cared about specifically is flavor text.
Which is exciting.
It's not uncommon. Like, words on a card is something that you see in unsets. And the reason they can't care about that in Black Border Magic is that those quotations change from
I was going to say
language to language.
And different printing, I would think.
And collector's number changes as well.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, God, all you need is one descent from the fisherman. And...
but there are a couple of cards that I wanted to talk about specifically, if I can find them. We were hoping for some sort of reference to the most powerful card in Magic, and we got it.
Nice.
Who is we?
Mostly me and Evan. Crow Storm.
Oh man, that sounds ridiculous.
2 and a blue for a sorcery at uncommon. Create a 1/2 blue bird creature token with flying named Stormcrow. And this card has Storm.
Of course it does.
Of course it does.
Now, don't misinterpret it like I did this morning, where I thought you created a half a blue bird creature token, because I'm so ready for the ridiculous that I was looking too far outside of the box and I fell right off the table.
Well, was it Unhinged had a whole big sub-theme of fractional...
Yeah, and that's why I was like,
so you're like, create a half a token.
It doesn't have any power and toughness. How do we know? Oh, jeez.
So Storm is the ability that, or the mechanic that Mark Rosewater said was never, ever, ever going to be reprinted ever because of the Storm scale. You know, it's named after Storm.
Yeah.
And Stormcrow is, of course, the most mediocre creature in Magic.
Yeah.
But I think this card specifically should go in, like, every cube.
Well, it's very good.
Yeah.
I mean, Storm already will occasionally accept as his finisher the creation of a bunch of 1/1s.
And these are 1/2s with flying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So seems good.
And then finally, I wanted to talk about Spike.
This is so far my favorite art.
Spike Tournament Grinder. This is the completion of a cycle. Starting with Timmy Power Gamer and then going through Johnny Combo Player, we now have Spike. And Spike is 2 Phyrexian Black.
Another mechanic that I'm sure they vowed never to repeat.
They did.
So good.
For a 1/1. And Phyrexian mana can be paid either with black or by paying 2 life. Mm-hmm. So this can cost 2 and 4 life. She has an ability. Phyrexian Black. Choose a card you own from outside the game that has been banned or restricted in a constructed format.
Lists are widely available on Reddit.
Reveal that card and put it into your hand.
That's very cool. And I love that Spike is a girl.
Do you want to read the flavor text for us?
Just wait. I have a response.
So good. She looks great too. What a good picture.
She looks amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm very happy with the completion of this cycle.
It's pretty cool.
Anyway, that's unstable from what we have right now. There will be, of course, more because we have 53 of 216 cards. So this is an official small set. Like, this is large enough to draft.
I mean,
by
it's
itself.
Still bigger by a considerable amount than the other two.
Mm-hmm. 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 It's about the first one combined with the second one.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm super looking forward to it, and yeah.
It's interesting that it's coming out very close to Iconic Masters.
Yeah, another symptom of their releasing way too much stuff these days, but this is the thing that I want to focus on. Because now, if you are interested in this set, or even if you're not really, I would urge you to check it out, because if they don't sell this set, there won't be another one. And that would be a real shame, because not only are unsets kooky and weird, they're also testing grounds for things that might just end up in normal Magic someday. And if they don't have outlets like this, and Conspiracy to a lesser extent, then they won't be able to think as outside the box.
Yeah.
You know? Like, they have to have a certain amount of structure in regular Magic. Anyway. Do we have anything else we want to talk about?
Well, yes. We have a look at what is on Twitch Magic-wise this weekend.
Well?
GP Portland Day 1 and Day 2.
Yay!
On Saturday and Sunday.
Portland, you say?
Yes.
Is this standard?
That's a good question. I didn't check, to be honest. I don't know.
But it doesn't matter because you're not going to be watching that.
And that was going to be my next point, because there's something much more exciting happening this weekend, and that is Desert Bus for Hope.
I've talked enough. Somebody else can talk about Desert Bus for Hope.
Okay, well, Desert Bus for Hope is a fundraiser for the Children's Miracle Network, specifically Child's Play, which brings video games to children in hospitals, which is fantastic. It's not only great for their self-esteem, but it's been proven to help them in other actual tangible ways.
It's been proven to help children heal faster.
Yeah.
Because they're not sitting there bored out of their gourds.
Yeah. So this is similar to an old school telethon, with the exceptions of it's run by Loading Ready Run, and they are going to be, the whole time they are on the air, somebody will be playing the worst game ever.
I think you mean the best game ever.
Yeah.
Worst
Desert
game
Bus.
ever created.
Created by Penn and Teller, those...
On Penn and Teller's Smoke and Mirrors.
Yes.
Better known for bullshit.
Yes. So essentially what they do is they take they stream for 24 hours a day for as long as they have monetary bids translated into hours to play.
So the way it works is an exponential progression. Yeah. So the first hour costs $1. The second hour costs $1.17, and then they multiply it as it goes on.
So for generally up to 4, 5, 6 days, they are online 24/7, switching out people. But not only are they sitting there playing this game, because that would be kind of dull.
Lame.
You mean incredibly exciting, because what does the game do, Tams?
It drives. Basically, you're on a bus driving from
Tucson, Arizona to Las Vegas, Nevada.
And the game lists a little. It pulls to one side so that you can't just prop your controller. You actually have to play it.
Cheating.
I know. So what they also do is they bring on special guests, like Penn and Teller will call in. They have Mojang sometimes on. They'll bring in musicians and actors. They'll play games. They'll do silly, ridiculous things. Sometimes they will play other video games at the same time. They also have all sorts of auction items up for bid, which is very exciting. They have some amazing stuff. If you go to their website, and I think it's desertbus.org.
I believe so.
They have a list of all of the items that are going to be auctioned off. Everything from stained glass mirrors to a giant bag of dice to uncut foil magic card sheet, which is gorgeous. Mm-hmm. So every year it's hilarious, and as the days go by, it gets more and more funny because people are suffering from sleep deprivation, and that's always funny. And you can contribute to a good cause. And so you should definitely check that out. We're definitely going to be having that on. And if you miss any, it'll have listed who is running each shift, who will be playing for each shift. So if you happen to be a big fan of Graham's, you can check out when he's going to be on. And the actual videos will be up online afterwards if you miss something.
Yeah, they do snip out the best stuff and put that on YouTube specifically in chunks. Mm-hmm. And I have gone back and watched, several bits of Desert Bus, which always make me happy.
Mm-hmm. So that's going to be exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So we have one other serious thing that we wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Do we want to do it now or bump it to next week?
Maybe we should bump it.
We will bump it to next week.
Yeah, so if you want to know what it is, you got to come back next week.
Okay, so finally I have a thing for the game we play, which we haven't actually made a name for. Make the card, or remake the card. Mm. So speaking of unstable, I wanted to get your opinions on not a card that actually exists, but filling out that cycle I was talking about.
Okay.
So we started with
Salem would like to participate.
Timmy Power Gamer, Johnny Combo Player, and then Spike Tournament Grinder.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a cycle. Timmy was in green, Johnny was in blue, Spike was in black. Mm-hmm. But there are two colors missing. And there are also two psychographics that haven't been discussed yet.
Okay, so there's Vorthos, and...
I would say white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's the other one?
Mel.
Which one's Mel?
Melvin is the one who cares about mechanics.
Yes. So Vorthos is the one who cares about story and lore. Mm-hmm. And then Mel will be the one who cares about mechanics. Yeah, I can see that being red.
I would have personally put it the other way, but...
Well, to me, Vorthos players demand that everybody else care about the story. And that seems very white to me.
Seems very passionate to me.
I didn't say they did it in a passionate manner. More so in a, I'm going to talk about it until it explodes all over you. Whereas those mechanics players, boy, can they start arguments.
Interesting.
That's true.
So we already have a divergence in opinion here, but
Yes. But you're not playing Step, it's Tams and I, and we both agree, so we're obviously correct.
if you two are in agreement, then we have a couple of other things to try to figure out about these cards.
Okay.
So they have similarities. They're templated very similarly. Mm-hmm. Timmy Power Gamer is 2 green for a 1/1 legend.
And the other one was 2
blue.
Phyrexian black and 2 Phyrexian black. So
Johnny was
no Spike.
2 blue, and Spike is 2 Phyrexian black. But their abilities are also similar. So Timmy has 4. Put a creature into play from your hand.
Okay.
So you can just play any creature for 4 mana.
I love Timmy. And then Spike had Phyrexian black, which is also possibly 4 mana.
Uh-huh.
If you're Tams and are playing mono black. Can also do something with a card in the sense that you can take it from the banned list and put it into your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Seems fine.
And then Johnny Combo Player for 2 blue, he's a 1/1 human gamer. And for 4, you can search your library for a card and put that card into your hand, then shuffle your library.
Alright, so a lot of single card into hand or single card out of hand.
So into hand or out of hand, we've got a 2 red and a 2 white 1/1 human gamers. Go.
I kind of like if it for Vorthos, maybe it's something like 4 mana of some combination. I would assume just 4 generic because that seems to be what most of them have been. And then, for example, reveal the top 5 cards of your library and tell a story. And for every card properly explained this way, put it into your hand or something.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
Interesting. Any thoughts?
I like it. I think that's really cool. So the other one is red, correct?
Well,
that's up to you.
It could be white.
How does Vorthos and Mel speak to you?
Oh, no, I was well on board with Laura.
Okay.
I think red is definitely Mel. So that's a mechanical thing, right?
Person who cares deeply about the mechanical interactions.
I kind of like something similar to Cascade, in the sense where it's like a mechanic cascade. So maybe, reveal a card from your hand and cascade off your library until you reveal a card that shares mechanic with it. And then your opponent takes damage equals the number of cards revealed this way or something like that. It's very red. I mean, gross. It would also be red if you took damage, but I like it if your opponent took damage because that seems sweeter.
It does seem sweeter.
Okay. All right.
Or reveal the top 5 cards of your library. For each individual mechanic revealed, a different mechanic revealed, deal damage to
Target
creature or player.
Ooh, that could be sweet too.
Okay. Interesting.
And then give it Storm.
Because why not?
Storm's a mechanic.
It sure is. And with that, I think we're done for now.
Before we break magic anymore?
Unless we've got anything else?
Nope, that's it.
No? All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us. And hello, welcome.
Oh, no.
I mean, goodbye.
He's been hit on the head again.
It's true. Thanks for listening, guys. And we'll see you. Well, no, we'll hear... No,
You'll hear us
next week.